All right, we're back. Sorry about that. Hopefully everyone can see us and rejoined. Proper links, all that stuff. Full computer freeze up there. I should probably get a new computer. This Mac Pro is what, like 6-7 years old at this point, I think.
I was gonna say, like, you need to stop trying to do this on a Chromebook. That's not a real computer. Come
Yeah,
on,
that
dude.
too. I should probably just use like the Windows machine behind me. It actually has proper specs. All right, so where were we? We were still talking, I think, Pixel 4.
Pixel 4.
So Pixel 4 CAD stuff. I think it's hard to get super duper excited about this design, but I think set my expectations fairly low because it's Google and they never really try anything wild. And as I mentioned, they always seem to be a little late to the party. I'm assuming the camera will be rock star. I'm assuming I'll like the software. Hopefully the performance keeps up because, there was issues originally with the Pixel 3 at launch. And it was like slowness and things like that. People still complain about some slowness. So I hope they kind of lock everything down. I just hope in the general quality of the phones and hardware are better than they've been in the past. I mean, this is Google's fourth phone. It's the second in a row where it's like all in-house. So I hope things improve greatly. I guess those are kind of my expectations. I don't know. Like, this is sort of what I expected. I just hope that they fine tune it all so that we don't have a whole bunch of problems after launch, so that we're writing up that people's earpieces don't work and there's a buzzing in this earpiece and speaker and there's not a headphone jack, but you know what I mean? Like, there's always these little things that like take over Reddit and all of Google's product forums, and they're really annoying. So
I think Selwonk actually brings up a fantastic point. He says Google's hardware is not that great. The software is the only thing good about their phones. And actually, I almost want to like agree but disagree, because I thought that the Pixel hardware was really good back in the day, and I almost thought that that's sort of what carried it. And then they sort of, they were doing this Pixel experience software, which was also cool. But now that Samsung has upped their software game with One UI, and I don't mind using it like at all, and OnePlus's software is also pretty darn good. If Google isn't making the best looking hardware, and I also find that their Pixel experience software is almost somewhat boring, and the reason because of that is I touched on this for the Android Q, the beta. We've been using it now for a few months, and by the time it's public, we know what's in it. There's not many surprises in there. We know that the gestures are crap, which we'll talk about. We know that, there's a dark mode. Finally. Oh, Google's out here just playing catch up with software. And, we could talk about bugs and all that stuff. Like, Pixels have their own problems. And so if the hardware isn't even really all that attractive to me, then it makes it less of a desirable smartphone in general. So, it's sort of like a toss-up right now in terms of if I like this phone or if I will like this phone. I'm sure it's going to have the best cameras. I'm sure it's going to be great. But as an overall package, I don't know. Is it going to be priced, reasonable? This thing's probably going to be like $1,000.
it's definitely not going to be cheap.
Yeah.
So I guess my expectations are just kind of low. I just want them to make stuff that doesn't have a bunch of problems immediately after it gets in the hands of more than 6 Googlers.
Right.
Sarah Washington mentioned the Pixel 2 XL has great hardware. I didn't LG build that. That's probably why. That was like last year with the 3 and 3 XL was the first time they like brought it all in house and hired somebody else to make them. Before that, like HTC made the Pixel and Pixel XL, and then with the 2, HTC made the 2, and then the 2 XL was LG. So that's probably why the hardware was great outside of the screen.
Yeah, Sarah also says, I want boring, clean software. If I wanted exciting and different, I'd install Nova. But like the boring, clean software, Google is having problems with bugs and having issues and taking a long time to fix them with this boring, clean software. They're not doing a ton of work on top of AOSP, I assume. They're definitely doing more than like Essential and all that. But the fact is, like, Google is having problems, I think, in the software department. And it's only becoming more apparent now that there's the firewall between like the Pixel team and Android team. They're all acting as individuals and not as just one cohesive unit.
It's such a weird thing that actually that separation that they want to do. And I know they're probably doing it because they don't want to piss off Samsung and LG and all their other partners. But it also seems really stupid. Like, you have the Android team and like Apple. I know like Apple doesn't let anyone else use their operating system, but part of the reason iPhones work so well is
So
because
good.
the hardware and software teams, I'm assuming they just work together until everything is perfect. And
Yeah.
here's Google, who inside the building, maybe across the lawn, I don't know, is the Android team, the other is the hardware, and they're like, yeah, we can't, guys, we gotta stay separate. And so then yeah, you run into software issues and other bugs. And sure, like the Pixel 3 that I have sitting right here on Android Q Beta 5 right now, it runs well. It's super smooth and stuff, but yeah, it also doesn't feel quite as like with the Nexus phones, and maybe they were in this a similar situation, but they always felt like Google picked a partner, like say LG, and then they came in and they used that phone because a lot of times they used whatever the new hardware was for the year to help develop the new version of Android. At least that's what I think we're led to believe, and they would introduce new features and things like that by doing that. And so those always felt really like this is the showcase device for whatever the new version of Android was, is kind of how we looked at it. And now that's gone. And now it's, well, Google's releases their Pixel experience on top of Android, and they're so separate that it just seems kind of weird. I'm not sure I fully understand the logic there, other than, well, we don't want to make Samsung mad. Okay. Sure. I guess that's enough reason. So yeah, as far as the boring software goes, I've been jumping around quite a bit this year. Like I was on the Galaxy S10 for a long time and enjoyed that. Used the OnePlus, whatever it is, 7 Pro for a long time, enjoyed that. And now I'm back on the Pixel 3 because we're getting closer to Q launching. And so I think I like pieces of all of them, but I'm kind of at a point, maybe not fully, I think, where you are, where you're bored with just regular old Pixel Android. And I'm kind of like, I like pieces of each. And so I don't know, like I like OnePlus's approach, but there's some things I don't like about it. Like I definitely have to put my own launcher on there because theirs sucks. But like with Google's, I like the Pixel launcher. With Samsung's, I have to put Nova on there, but there's some other features. So yeah, I don't really know what my preference is anymore. I'm cool with what Android Q's doing, although a lot of things just seem broken, and I'm kind of frustrated with them. I mean, we can talk about gestures later and how I believe they suck, but like notifications appearing on my always on display seem to not be there half the time and things like that. So I don't know, there's some weird stuff. And so that's another thing you kind of touched on, is why are there all these bugs, Google? This is your operating system. But
Yeah, and I don't want to harp on Q being bad because it's a beta, and I want to be the last person talking smack about a beta. But that beta, the Android Q beta, has made me not want to use the Pixel, and I like the Pixel, but the Q beta, not. I mean, sure, I could say it's boring, but I'd rather be specific. It's just not good. There's like something about it when you're using it just doesn't feel right to me. You know, I'm trying to use the gestures, and I want to use the dark mode, but I think it's one of the worst implementations of a dark mode I've ever seen. It's like way too dark. Like it's black.
it's AMOLED black. That's what everyone wanted, right?
Mode. I didn't want black
I know,
mode.
I don't
I just
really like
a
it either.
darker mode, sort of like what Twitter does, where it's just kind of grayed out. Not black.
We should do a poll on that, actually. That's
How
actually a good
dark do you
poll.
want
Do you
dark
want
modes?
AMOLED black, or you just want it to be darker?
Yeah,
Because I'm kind of with you.
It's just not.
It's probably an unpopular opinion, but I'm with you on that.
I hope it's popular, but I pray for popularity.
I just feel like all I saw forever was, we need black to save battery. And I was always like, black's too dark. I
Black's
want
too
dark
dark.
gray.
Yeah, dark gray. I just want dark. Yeah. As Sarah says, Reddit OLED mode. Exactly.
Yes.
So there's just these certain things that kind of build up, and I was like, man, it's not good. It's not fun to use. So maybe that'll change when the Q is actually released. I kind of doubt it. I don't know. And so the problem is, again, you were talking about this, how the Nexus was sort of like the peak of what Android maybe could be in terms of hardware and software. Now, Pixel devices merely play catch up to whatever has come before it earlier in the year, right? With the release schedule, the way it's set in the second half, later part of the year, Samsung's been around, OnePlus has been around, and then you've got the Note 10 coming. Like, that phone looks futuristic, even though it looks kind of funky, but at least it looks pretty awesome. So the Pixel device, it's like not even up there, I would say, in terms of software or hardware, simply because we've seen all of this from other OEMs earlier in the year.
Yeah,
Hate to say it.
I mean,
but
this is something I don't know that we thought we would get to at any point, but Google, they make the operating system. They're very much in everything they do as far as Android goes are in catch-up mode at all times.
Yeah.
And part of that is because they opened up Android so that other people could make skins and innovate on top of it. And so everyone else did that. And it's harder for them to build in stuff to stock Android because it has to work so that other people can then use it in their versions, right? And so it does take them some time to add some stuff. But yeah, when you think about it, right, they we're getting a dark mode, right? But like Samsung's had that and other people have had that. Like that's not a new thing. So they're adding features that have been in other versions or on other skins for years. And then their hardware also, because of the timing of it, is late. So Google's kind of, by the time the Pixels get here, as much as you and I like these phones, and a lot of our readers do too, they are always behind. And not only that, they're using whatever the newest Qualcomm processor is, except they're at the end of the year. They're at the end of the cycle for whatever. So like the Pixel 4 will have an 855, I'm sure, right? But then in December, so that'll be in October. In December, Qualcomm will go, here's the 865 or whatever the next is, right? So 2 months later, you're kind of like, well, you guys are almost behind now. So everything they do with this schedule they have set up, it kind of has them set up to be behind. And I don't know that that's ever going to be a real winning strategy, right? Like Apple, they don't compete with anyone because there isn't another Apple OEM, right? It's just Apple. So they release what they release and everyone's current on that because that's what they can get. But with Android, there's so many other players doing other stuff that Google then has fallen behind. And it almost feels like a little bit like they're starting to fall really far behind.
That's kind of what it feels like. Yeah, it feels like it's been slipping and slipping and slipping.
Right?
Who just mentioned that? Glucose Guardian, bless you. Do you think Pixel's launch so late in the year coincides with Google playing catch up to other manufacturers? What I think it just dates back to all the way the beginning of their first device. I think that either their marketing or whoever came up with this, like, well, if we launch the device in October or whenever, it'd be good for holiday shopping season. I assume that's when a lot of people are buying phones and stuff. And maybe like that's a good time to launch a phone. And it's just been that way. So that's just my guess, though. I don't think we know exactly why Google decided to do second half of the year and just stick with it.
Or Q4 or whatever they decided. Yeah.
But now we've got new phones, the whole A lineup. So
that's true. We do. I wonder if they're going to keep that as like a mid-year launch, which I hope they do because it keeps them in the headlines. But
it'd be cool. But like, is the Pixel A lineup something that needs to be updated like once a year, maybe every other year?
Yeah, you got to.
Just seems
you got to move handsets. Keep releasing new ones.
Oh my goodness gracious! Think about all the e-waste, people. Come on.
Yeah, that's what we do in this world.
Damn right. Burn it down.
The other little bit of news that we haven't talked about because we haven't done a show in 2 weeks is the secondary lens on the back of the Pixel 4 is likely a 16 megapixel telephoto lens.
Boo!
Yeah, so we ran a poll on this.
Oh yeah.
We asked, would you rather have telephoto or an ultra wide secondary camera? And it's split. Half the people said ultra wide. It's actually 51% said. So 51% of the people are smart, and 49% want telephoto. I like ultra wides. I like getting everything in the shot. Whereas like the zoom, I don't really take zoom photos because I think like it will be digital zoom. Well, not digital zoom, but it won't be a good enough zoom, I guess I should say. So I won't probably use it much.
I think you can only make an optical zoom so good on a smartphone, right? Considering the size of the lens itself, it's just not that good. 3 times max. And like the OnePlus One, as we know now, it's not even true 3 times optical zoom. So it's all cropped in BS. This is all marketing mumbo jumbo. Give us the wide angle.
Give us the ultra wide.
Yep, give us that wideness. I like them wide. You heard it here first.
Yeah, but it was split down the middle. Half people said ultra, half said telephoto.
Yeah.
Before we change subjects, in the previous stream that died, there was a whole bunch of donations that rolled through. We didn't get to thank everyone. So B Barber 19 dropped $1. Clinton dropped $2 and said half a beer for your guys, have to split it. Lol, crying, happy, smiley face. Nick Fisher dropped $2. Sarah Washington dropped $8 and said, here's the $8 you had to round up, or beer money. Oh, thank you for that. Thank you for that. I thought somebody dropped 10. Hold on, I'm looking.
It was B Barber 19.
Oh, B-Bar 19 again, dropped 10, yeah.
Yep.
It just said straight donation.
Straight up.
Appreciate that. And then I froze, died, so I don't know what happened after that. But thank you guys for the donations.
And also Andy Uribe with the $1 donation.
Oh, there
Thank
was.
you so
Yeah,
much.
see, so I missed that. That was probably when I was super frozen.
Yep. No worries. I got you.
Awesome. Thank you guys for that. All right, so let's talk Android Q for a second. Android Q Beta 5 is out, dropped this week. It's the 5th. We should get a 6th. These are supposed to now be release candidates before we get to stable. So Beta 5 is out for all Pixel devices 1, 2, 3, and 3A. Oh, and there's 2 more donations. Sarah with another $1. Austin Murphy with $2.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sarah with another $1. Thank you so much. I'll just keep it going.
So in this Beta 5, there isn't a ton of new stuff, but one of the big things is we have a much more finalized looking version of the full gesture navigation that Google plans to implement once this goes stable. And by that, all I really mean is they added little corner knobby things to showcase where you will swipe to launch Google Assistant from. Because this was in Beta 4. You could launch Assistant by swiping from the corners, but there wasn't little knobby things there to tell you that you could do that. So it was kind of a mystery. So they added that. They haven't really changed much else in terms of how it works. Maybe a little more polishing, might be a little bit faster. As everyone knows, I still cannot stand them. I believe you're on that. You're on the team with me, right? As the Android Q gestures are awful.
No, actually, I was using the gestures last night and I got totally used to them overnight. Now I think they're the most intuitive things I've ever used in my life. No, man, they suck.
It's going to take like 2 weeks to ever get used to it, and I would still hate them.
So I don't think I ever will. And it was the reasons you brought up with the keyboard and the back button. The back button is simply not a back button, people. It
does
is so much more than a back button. And the fact that they got rid of it and it really screws up the entire OS. So I don't know what they're doing. It's awesome. It's so Google.
That's like my whole argument. So if you don't know what we're talking about, I made this stupidly long video where I showed all the things I hate about the full screen, full navigation gestures. And yeah, a lot of it comes back to the back button, because the back button is super duper important to just general Android functionality. It goes back a screen, it gets you out of apps, it hides your keyboard, like it does a whole bunch of stuff. It'll close menus, like it does everything. Like the back button is a core function. And instead of just tapping on a back button, we now are left with side swipe gestures. And side swipe gestures mess with everything. They mess with all the menus that Google told everyone to build into all of their apps. But like if you miss a gesture, like you could swipe across your screen and happen to like hit a button that maybe you don't want. Like you might like something on Instagram that like you did not want to like because the swipe did. I mean, there's all sorts of issues there. But part of the problem is because they did it from the side. Like OnePlus's gestures do back button is swipes from the bottom up, which makes sense. Like if Google just did that, it probably would have fixed a lot. Although they want this other swipey up gesture thing to get into the app switcher. I mean, like there's so many terrible decisions around this back button thing. You have to have a back button that isn't a side swipe gesture. But anyways, I could talk about this for a really long time, but
Brandon Fisher claims that we are cheap, grumpy Android users stuck in our old ways. This is not Abe Simpson yelling at the cloud, people. This is a real problem, and that's why we're addressing it, to try and help you all out. Because if Google, God forbid, makes this a thing and then takes away our ability to change between the pill and back button or the classic Android navigation of recent apps, home and back, you're going to be praying we could go back to the good old times. So we're going to take the brunt of the hate if people don't agree with us, but we believe that we are right. And there is no other way.
There is no other way. Ben Jacobs brought up, hey, I'm just going to switch to Nova Launcher anyway. So here's another problem, right? Google, when they released Beta 5 this week, said, look, we know our full navigation gestures do not work with third-party launchers. And so what we're going to do is if you switch to a third-party launcher, we're just going to switch you back to the old 3-button style
What is this?
So not even the pill style, the 2-button style, the 3 buttons, because the pill I also don't think works with Android Q just in general and third-party launchers. So they're going to drop you back to 1999. I mean, I know Android hasn't been along 2015 or whatever when we got 3 buttons. And so third-party launchers just don't work. And they're going to start reverting you as of now. And then in Q Beta 6, they're also going to revert you back. And then they said they're probably going to issue an update once it's stable sometime down the road that will hopefully enable gestures to work with third-party launchers. So Google killed the back button with a gesture, which is stupid. And then they also didn't consider the impact of these new gestures and how they would interact with third-party launchers, which, I mean, if we take a look at third-party launchers and the downloads and the install numbers, we're talking 100 million, hundreds of millions of people. I'm not even sure, right? 50 million, 60 million. I don't know. Like Nova Launcher's probably been downloaded tens of millions of times. I'd imagine 10 million times. So millions of users cannot use a new core functionality of the new version of Android because Google they don't know what to do there. Like, who thought of this stuff? And basically all they've tried to do is copy Apple's gestures, which Apple's gestures work because they don't need a back button. Well, and Apple's don't need a back button, right? So, good Lord, Google.
I think it goes to show that Google doesn't have a lot of foresight with these types of things. Messaging applications, social networks, and gestures. I'm sure there's more. But just no foresight in these 3 categories for sure. We just need to think things like who's testing it? Who at Google was like, oh, this works good. We're just going to kill functionality. We're going to screw over some users. And we may or may not fix it later down the road. And I think we're good to go. They stamp the approval.
Let's push it out. So I've seen some people respond to the video I made. And they're like, Kellen, it's just a beta. This is beta 5, a release candidate. It is not going to change. Yeah,
this is it.
There is such a tiny chance that they will change these gestures in the next beta to stable. Like, we're at release candidate, like final APIs. Like, they're telling developers to get their stuff ready because this is what you should expect. Like, I don't think these are changing much. I mean, thankfully you can switch to the pill, the 2-button or the 3-button, so you don't have to use these terrible gestures. And also, it's Q, so it's only Google's Pixel phones that are affected at this point in time, right? I mean, I threw a fit about it, but in the grand scheme of things, like, it's only Pixel phones that this is even an option, and you don't have to use them. I just think they're terrible, and I think people should know that they're terrible.
Yeah, this is going to affect about 5,000-10,000 people tops. But the thing is, we want to just get that info out there because Google's watching. Google's looking for the feedback, and if we don't put it out there and we don't say that it sucks, then they're not going to know. Someone's got to know.
Did you see that? Rick just put the numbers in the chat. 50 million installs for Nova's free launcher, and the Pro has over 1 million. That's just one launcher, and there are other launchers that have, I don't know if as many, but probably just as many millions of downloads. So that's a lot of people that Google just went, sorry.
That's Google.
Of course, they would have to have, a phone that supports these gestures, and I know there's no one. But again, the bigger picture is Google just doesn't seem to really understand. I mean, it took, when they first did these full gestures, I think it was at I.O., wasn't it? And within 2 minutes, any single person that installed it went, guys, I can't slide out the Google Play menu. Like, everyone said that. Like, it took 2 seconds for us to go, hey, we can't slide out these menus anymore. What the hell, Google? And Google's like, oh, you can't. Well, we'll work on that. Jesus.
So weird.
It's so weird. Andy dropped another $1. Xavier dropped $1. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So, yeah, I mean, Google's being Google. What else is new?
Yeah. But, again, we just want to get it out there that we're not fans. That way they have time by next year's Google I.O. or whenever to maybe sort things out a little bit. So, Big Bomb Dono Don with the $20 bomb right there. Thank you, Don.
Big Bomb Dono Don dropping by with the $20. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. How's the pup? Yeah. Did you get the pup?
Oh, yeah.
Did you get the pup?
Some type of Chihuahua.
Chiweenie.
Chiweenie.
It was a Chiweenie. Don, did you get the Chiweenie? Nate Clements also with $2 super chat. Thank you, Nate.
Oh, Nate. Thank you very much.
Don, tell us about the Chiweenie.
Chiweenie.
In terms of other changes, the boot animation now, on at least on the Pixel 3s, if you're on dark mode and you reboot your phone, it's a dark reboot, which is actually a really nice change. If you ever have to reboot your phone in the middle of the night or it reboots on its own, because it's not stable, having a black screen rather than white is great. Apparently, it's not working on anything but the Pixel 3s, though, so sorry, folks.
Ridiculous.
What else did they change? That's not really anything. Nope.
Notification
snoozing, the little half side swipe of a notification. You can now turn that off if you don't want that to be an option. You have to go into notification settings. You can decide if you want to allow notification snoozing. Just a weird little thing.
It's like a whole new OS.
Yeah. What's with the donos just rolling in?
I don't know. Obi with the $2 is just because they know doesn't mean they'll fix it. Amen to that, dude. And then TJ Card with the $10. Not a fan of gestures either. Thank you. Good. We're going to send this episode off to Google after this and let them know that we don't want it. So
that people will, yes, support not having these terrible gestures. Actually, we talked about this when they did the pill gesture thing, right? We said all you need to do is get rid of that back button by making it a right to left swipe, and there's your back button. And then it doesn't mess with side menus. It doesn't mess with side stuff. You're not swiping across the screen. You can hide the keyboard. That's funny that was like what pissed you off too, was like when you were trying to find a back gesture to make the keyboard go away. Like you have to reach up above. Like, oh, it pissed me off. I think that was actually the moment where I said, I'm making a video because I can't hide the keyboard without going up above and swipe. That pissed me off. Daniel E. €2?
Yes.
Because of your shirt, Tim.
Deutschland. How about that World Cup though, eh?
How about that World Cup? Before we get there, yeah, that's about it for changes. Q Beta 5. Sorry, I thought I had more there. So Q Beta 5 is out if you guys want it. They did pause it for a minute because a few people had some issues, but it's back rolling out. You can flash it if you want. One thing I like about newer Android builds these days is when you want to update, you can update it, installs kind of in the background, right? And then when it's done, you just reboot and you should be good to go. It takes a really long time though for it to update in the background. Like you and I were talking about, like someone in one of our chats or one of our comment threads said it took 2 hours to update, and some guy responded to him was shocked, and I was like, no, it took. I mean, my Pixel 3 XL, I flashed images, so that takes all of 5 minutes. But my 3, when I took the OTA, it seriously probably took an hour and a half before my phone finally was ready to reboot. So yeah, it takes a long time. I mean, I appreciate that it happens in the background, but if you're in a hurry, like us who wants it now, yeah, it takes a long time.
Well, I'm just not a fan. The optimizing the apps thing, the whole downloading thing, it wasn't even that big. It was like 100 some odd megs. And I was like, what is this? I was like, wanted to check my network speeds and all that. I was like, everything's fine. It's just this thing that's taking forever. Yeah. So very frustrating. Yeah. I guess it's cool that it happens in the background, but just hurry it up, will ya? Come on.
Did you see Larry in the chat said, hope my chat's not delayed today. Larry,
oh God, that was the funniest thing ever.
The trivia. Larry, I think you're good.
RCS, Rich Communication Services. Oh, that was so funny.
We thought he was just trolling too. Larry, I think you're good. Yeah, he is. Okay. Oh, well, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Rick is asking if you don't like your apps optimized. I don't even know what that means. They don't explain anything. Like, there's just no way that is actually doing anything.
Yeah,
optimizing your apps.
It did take a long time for what seemed like such a small app. Or update.
Yes.
So that's Android Q Beta 5. So we'll get a 6 probably maybe early next month, and then or maybe in 2 weeks, and then middle of August we might get Q stable. August has kind of been the month for Google, so we just got this one mid-July or almost mid-July. So I mean, in a month we might have stable. We might get another release candidate, and then we might get stable. It could all happen very quickly. Very quickly.
Optimizing apps. Someone reach out to Google. What does that even mean? Optimizing apps.
It takes so long.
What are they doing?
I don't know. It's one of those things where you watch it and you think, yeah, your phone's just not working. You go, I don't think this. And I'm always tempted to reboot. I was like, this thing's frozen. It's not working. I should reboot, but which would probably really break stuff. Yeah, it takes a long time though. Do not watch the optimizing app screen. It will drive you insane. Like I had it setting on my Pixel stand right here because I was like, well, it's optimizing and I have the screen on and it's bright white, right? I should probably be charging it. And I was thinking that's probably not good. It's probably just frying all the insides there.
Xavier Santana says making copies of your data equals optimizing. Yeah. No. Yeah. I don't doubt that. Also, for the Android Q name, I would be happy if they just stick with Android Q. None of the Q options are good. Just keep it with Q.
Just do the first time where they don't name it app. I'm actually fine with that.
Yeah.
Petition that.
That's fine.
Change.org. Here we go.
Here we come. Cool.
All right, switching to Galaxy Note 10 for a minute. Invites have rolled out. The date has been set August 7th. Samsung will unveil the Galaxy Note 10. I mean, they haven't called it the Note 10, but they showed an S Pen and they showed a camera punch and all that stuff. So 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific in Brooklyn, August 7th. They will show it off.
Brooklyn. Dude, I love Brooklyn.
I think I've only ever been in Brooklyn
changed.
like once or twice, so
really,
I don't really have much of an opinion of Brooklyn. Mostly driving through, I think, in a taxi. So I don't know much about Brooklyn.
Brooklyn's the truth.
Yeah. So that'll happen. What else do we know about it though? Was it this? Yeah, it was this week, right? We got official looking press renders, probably from a retailer site or something along those lines. Ishan Agarwal, hopefully I'm saying his name right. A guy who's been leaking stuff for a while, posting images like this. He posted front to back side S Pen videos of, what did you call this? Silver? Yeah, silver and also a black version of the Note 10. It is, I mean, this is an all screen device. So the silver, I think, as you noted, is kind of like a gradient Huawei-ish, or no, it kind of looks like the white.
It's a prism white.
Yeah, it's like prism white, but maybe a slightly more silvery and bluish or something.
Yeah.
Either way, this phone is a massively screened device. It's not really a good way to say that. It is a corner-to-corner, edge-to-edge screened device with a single hole punch camera, dead center in the front top. Little bit of a chin down there. It's a little bit. So again, we're not really lined up similar to the Pixel 4. And we got a blue S Pen in the silver and a black S Pen in the black. It is, I will just say, it is a very cool looking device. In hand, I imagine it's going to be a disaster to use because it's a square or rectangle. So it's probably not going to be that comfortable and it's going to be huge, but it looks cool. I like the look of it, especially compared to like Google's Pixel 4 thing. This looks much cooler. This looks like the future.
It does look like the future. It looks like an impossible to use future, but the future nonetheless. Yes. I'm considering we're not even going to be holding our phones in the future. It's just going to levitate in front of us, and we're all going to be doing stupid hand gestures to control and stuff. Like it can be all screen. It can just be like a hologram. So, boy, it sure does look cool. Like if you transported this phone back to 2012 or whatever, it would just blow people's minds.
Yeah. This would have been one of those concept videos that was never real. That's what this is. Yep.
It looks ridiculous. I'm sure it's going to be amaze balls.
Probably.
Big old best display ever. Good cameras. I mean, it's got an S Pen though. I don't use S Pens. I'm still Team Note because I'm sure mobile gaming on this thing is going to be awesome. My Lego tower is going to be looking fierce.
No headphone jack.
Who needs a headphone jack? Come on, people. It's 2019. Get the wireless buds. We got a deal on them. They're like $18 on Amazon. Come on.
For so cheap now.
Get some buds. It's Bluetooth 5.0. Like, the time has come, guys.
Does it have DeX? Probably.
It's probably got DeX. And Bixby.
Bixby. Does it have a Bixby button? Oh, of course it does.
No, I heard. Yeah, we're talking about the power button being on the top of the device. Last I heard, this is like, that was like
okay.
That was a rumor I saw on the old Twitter yesterday, I think.
Well, I can see two buttons. I can see the volume and where the Bixby button has been on that left side, and the right side does not have a button, and that's normally where the power button is. I don't think we have a button up top. Is that really what someone said?
That's what someone said.
This is weird. I'm not okay with that.
I don't really care about the Note 10. I want Bixby Home, that little home speaker that they've been teasing us for 2 years. Bring on Bixby Home speaker.
You definitely.
Or was it Galaxy Home? No,
Galaxy
I don't.
Home. Galaxy Home, I think.
Yeah, Galaxy Home. No, that thing doesn't need to launch.
I think was it the Note 9 event where they had those all lined up on the side of the stage, and
Yes.
and here we are. It's going to be a year, and they might then maybe sell them there.
Yeah, bring on the Bixby grill, the Bixby cauldron, all that stuff, man. Bixby, all the things. Why not?
Yeah, so this phone looks great.
It looks awesome.
Yeah, I don't. It seriously might be a disaster to hold and handle and do anything with, but it looks cool. Like sitting this on a table, I would love to just take pictures of it.
Yeah,
It looks really pretty, but it seems a little impractical. Yeah. Oh, it was at the FCC this week too, the international models, and they show pictures of it with no headphone jack, just in case anyone thought there was a chance there would be a headphone jack. There is no headphone jack.
sorry guys.
Feels bad.
It's fine. 2019.
Yeah, I haven't really used a headphone jack in a while. But I also live at home in a cave and I never go out, so I just use speakers. I don't ever really use headphones except when we're doing this. And you can see I'm a wired guy when I'm in the office.
I'm a wired guy too.
Like
And
these are
old
Bluetooth
3.5.
headphones and I have it wired. It's just, what are we doing?
Well, I mean, come on. Your Mac Pro can't handle Bluetooth connection on top of everything else that's going on.
This is actually true. That CPU would be at like
It might explode
75% if I put Bluetooth anything on there. Poor little guy. Poor little trash can. All right. So yeah, Note 7, Note 10, I mean, August 7th.
Nice.
Yes.
That's coming up. Holy moly.
Yeah, less than a month away.
Nice. Brooklyn.
All right, Mobvoi. Does somebody own Mobvoi? What else do they make? No, I must be thinking of somebody else.
Yeah, you're thinking of something
I
else.
must be thinking of somebody else. Mobvoi. Oh yeah, I was thinking Anchor. Anchor has those other off brands like I think Lumi and some other stuff.
Mobvoi is the Chinese unicorn, correct?
Yes, that's what
Yes.
they told us in an email, that they are a
Yes.
Chinese unicorn. Yes.
Yes, for context, everybody. We
Yes.
got an email and they said they called themselves the
Yes.
Chinese unicorn.
They did.
So
They did indeed. Either way, Mobvoi has been making smartwatches for quite some time. They actually make pretty good smartwatches. You can buy them all on Amazon for fairly reasonable prices. They're typically Wear OS watches. They released this week the TicWatch Pro 4G LTE. It is a re-release of the TicWatch Pro, which actually was announced a year ago. So it's a year-old watch that they re-released, but they upped the RAM to 1 gig, shrunk the weight down, dropped the weight down a little bit, threw in some LTE, and it's just all black now instead of having like silver bezels and stuff. Cost $300. You can buy it right now for $280. It's supposed to have Verizon LTE, but they apparently didn't complete the paperwork or something. You just can't make this stuff up. So, yeah, they didn't complete the compliance stuff they needed to get it to work properly or something on Verizon's network. And so you can't actually use it there. You can buy it now, too, by the way, but it doesn't actually work on Verizon's right now. And it supposedly will in like a month. You know, Sagas told us for like 4 years that Verizon certification was done, and it's still not done. So
holy moly.
I know Mobvoi is not Sagas,
Yes.
but
They make real products.
they do make real products you can buy, including this one. I did test it for like a good week or so. But yeah,
Why?
The LTE is coming
No
soon.
LTE.
I know. Well, that was the thing. They sent me this thing, right? I think I have it. There it is. It's under my desk.
It's holding
There it is.
It's helped leveling the desk.
Well, it's, I probably should send it back to them, but I couldn't even find the box for it. Anyways, here it is. It's not a bad little watch. But
No.
yeah, so they sent it to me and they're like, hey, test this out. It's coming up soon, whatever. And I was like, oh, well, so like a few days into it, I went, oh yeah, this thing has LTE. Like I forgot that was like the big selling feature of it, right?
Yeah.
So I asked, like, so how do I get on the LTE? And they go, oh yeah. It's not ready.
Don't ask,
Should
don't
be
tell.
should be soon, ready soonish, and then once it is, then maybe we'll test it. I don't know why anyone needs LTE in a watch. So the watch itself is decent for a Wear OS watch. I'll just say that. I'm not like in the mood to just tell everyone to flock out and buy Wear OS watches because none are great. They just do what they do, and so with this one being a year old and still running a Snapdragon Wear 2100 and stuff, like these are tough sells. For $300, like it'd be tough for me to be like, yes, friend, you should spend $300 on this watch.
It's a bad idea.
That would be tough to do. I think
No,
I said this
man.
like mini review I wrote up, like I would buy this at a substantial discount. I wouldn't buy it for $300.
I would recommend waiting for the Pixel 3a to go on sale or something, and then spending a few dollars more, just getting a whole phone that has LTE instead of this watch.
Yes, probably.
Yeah.
And again, it's for a Wear OS watch. It's one of the better, but I mean, it's just tough to tell people to run out and do this thing. A couple donations roll in. David says, here's $2. I declare bankruptcy. I'm sorry.
Sorry to hear that.
And then Eric Ortiz just dropped $10 as well. Thank you guys very much.
Nice.
Lots of donos just rolling in today.
Did we catch Eddie Daniels with the Samsung $2 cash?
Oh, no. Eddie, Samsung cash.
Thank you. I'm going to need that.
Yeah, yes, we are. Anyway, so that's the Mobvoi watch. Right. Yeah. Move right on out of there. Speaking of Wear OS, though. Oh, did you have something?
Oh, I just wanted to say
10 Zyborgs.
Yeah, Rick Cockrill in the chat says, I still throw out the on a run and have an emergency situation for cellular on a watch. Of course, there are some instances, emergency situations, where LTE on a smartwatch would definitely be good.
For sure.
Other than that, not very helpful. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can it should work with number sync or whatever Verizon's version of number sync is. So you can take calls on it while you're out. You can get texts on it and not have your phone near you and all of that stuff.
Totally.
The other thing I worry about there is, again, Wear OS is such an underperforming, terribly performing platform because all the chips in it are so old that I don't know that you would want to do that. I can't imagine taking a call on one of these old I mean, this is a brand new watch with all this old technology inside of it, but maybe it works.
The sports mode's still coming, right? From Qualcomm or Google? Oh, wait. Well, we don't know because Google doesn't comment on rumors and speculation.
Yeah. Did we talk about that a couple weeks ago where I asked them? I was like,
we must have.
I asked both of them. I said, are you guys still doing this sports mode thing? Well, I asked Qualcomm, was like, you guys said you were working with a big sports brand partner and you were going to release this sports mode. I said, are you guys still doing that? And they were like, yeah, it's still on schedule. And I was like, you announced this last August. What do you mean? I think I asked them last month. I was like, it's June. And then I asked Google, was like, are you guys building in sports mode for Qualcomm, or who's doing that? Because it's your OS. And they were like, we don't comment on rumor and speculation. It's like, no. They announced this. It's so very weird. I don't know.
Wear OS has been a flop. And I wouldn't be upset if Google just killed it.
See, I would, because here's got the old Summit G on right now.
Le
Mont Blanc is on right now. So I would be sad. I just want them to improve it. But
smartwatches are a mess. Sarah Washington said it best. It's a mess.
Yeah.
We need to clean the swamp of Wear OS.
Well, what we're trying to get to with this long lead in here is that Qualcomm might try again to save Wear OS with another new chipset, which somebody just mentioned that in the chat. Was that Rick? Yeah, Rick just mentioned that. So, so a story came out this week from Win Future that suggests that Qualcomm is in early stage development of one or two chips, either a Snapdragon Wear 2700, which doesn't make sense because the 3100 is a higher number and crappy, but also a Wear 429, which maybe that's like the real good one. Either way, it's based off of the Snapdragon 429. Wait, is that correct? Did I write that right? So there's an actual phone chip, I believe, called the Snapdragon 429, and they're going to make a Wear version of that, which would be great because it's 12 nanometers, 64-bit. It's not a 28 nanometer 32-bit chip that the Wear 31 is. So it'll be a massive improvement in terms of performance, hopefully battery life, but the big deal there is performance. It'll finally support Bluetooth 5.0 because Wear OS doesn't, because none of the chips do, which is really terrible. That could be huge. Well, it should support that if it's got a 429 in it. Either way, we don't know if or when this is actually coming, but apparently they're working on it. But if we're talking early development, this might be a year still. Like, I don't know if this is coming I guess in December they could announce it when Qualcomm has their big Hawaii summit. Otherwise, it's hard to get super excited yet.
Why does it seem that Qualcomm cares about the future of Wear OS more so than Google does?
It really feels like Google should make their own Wear OS chip at this point. Because Qualcomm, I think...
that's what they need to do. Sink more money into this failing platform.
Yeah. Well, if they want it to be a thing, because Qualcomm clearly doesn't care, right?
Right.
MediaTek, I believe, makes some, but I think there's some issues with MediaTek that it maybe doesn't support NFC. I'm not sure. There's something with MediaTek that no one wants to use their chips very often in watches anymore. Like I think Mobvoi did initially, and now they've gone away and switched to Snapdragon Wear. So, like Google made the Pixel whatever chip and the camera chip, whatever the hell it's called. Someone
Visual Core.
Yeah, the Pixel Visual Core, that thing. So they're clearly interested in making stuff like that. I know this is probably a bigger undertaking than that, but
I would think so.
they also have the Titan. Don't they have a Titan chip now? I should know all these things.
Their Titan M security chip.
Yeah, that one.
Thing.
So they make chips. They should probably do it if they want to save Wear OS, because Qualcomm clearly does not care that much.
Yeah, Brandon Fisher just brought up, why not go to Texas Instruments?
Let's go back to Texas Instruments.
Let's go back to the calculator processors. Keep that in mind, folks. It's going to be very important coming up.
Mm-hmm. Yes, anyway. We used to use TI chips in watches.
We did.
The greatest Wear OS watch of all time used one.
Yeah. Wow.
Eric's got it. Yeah, so there's a report that Qualcomm might try to save Wear OS, but there's nothing much more going on there. In friendship news, Google and Amazon have become much better friends this week officially. So a couple months ago, anyway, Google and Amazon announced that they would become friends, and then this week they became friends. And what I mean by that is Amazon Prime Video is now on Android TV. If your Android TV didn't have it, like if you have a Shield TV, you've had it for years, but if you didn't, you probably didn't have Amazon Prime. But now you can download it, and it'll have a Chromecast button built in, so you can cast all the Prime videos, which you previously could not do.
That's crazy.
On the flip side, YouTube is now on all of the Fire TV products, and it used to be like these weird shell apps that were really janky. Now the official YouTube app is on all the Fire TV stuff. I thought there was something else too. Oh,
this is the way it should have been.
Including all the Fire TV TVs, because Amazon builds Fire TV into TVs. So
YouTube numbers are going to spike.
Yes.
This is great news. This is huge. Finally, two of our big overlord corporations are getting together and being friends. This is what America needs.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, these two companies run the world anyway, so they might as well get together and screw us all together at the same time. This is great.
It's better to have them as friends for sure.
I agree.
All right, so final topic then. Sprint 5G is now in Chicago. Chicago is just a hotspot for 5G stuff. Remember that Sprint's 5G is actual 5G, not the millimeter wave, ultra wide, whatever stuff that is basically covers one block if you're standing next to it, not behind a door. Chicago's already covers 700,000 people, they said?
Correct.
Yeah, Sprint's 5G is actual 5G. It's just, a lot of you aren't with Sprint, and you're probably not going to jump to them for 5G at this moment, but you may one day.
You may one day. I mean, their 5G seems to be, that's progress.
They got that good.
Their CEO tweeted at me this morning saying, yeah, the sound of progress. I don't know if that's what
he actually did do that, by the way. Tim's not just making that up. He did.
No, I don't make stuff up like that.
Nope.
This is real life for me.
All right, are your lights ready? Is it that time?
Yeah. Don't have to tell me twice.
My lights are on, but they're not. They're not trivia
boots
lights.
And pants and boots and pants and boots and pants.
I'll get the dance going.
Boots
there they are.
Boots and pants. Boots and pants. Yep, we're ready.
Trivia time. Yes, it is. We are done with topics.
Oh, yeah.
You can rejoin the show now or whatever you need to do. It's trivia time. So DL Show Trivia. End of every show, we do trivia. We have 5 questions. We'll put those one by one up on the screen. We'll read them out, and you answer them live in the YouTube comments. And if you're first on our screen, like we see you answer correctly first, then we will call out your name, and you win. And you win fabulous prizes. And again, this week we're giving away 5 of OnePlus's Explorer backpacks because you no longer need an invite code in order to buy them. So we're going to get 5 of them, and we'll give them to you. They're cool. Like, OnePlus makes cool backpacks. I know you don't think of them as a swag gear company, but they make cool backpacks.
These are good backpacks, people, and it's boots and pants. Anyway.
I don't know
Not
what's
boots
going
and
on.
cats. Boots and cats. Come on, people. Did you guys hear the pig in the Geico commercials? Boots and
I
pants.
don't even know what you guys are talking about, but it's fine.
Anyway.
It's fine. Yeah, so that's how it works. A lot of people in the chat dropping down to dial-up speeds, I think, or resolution, whatever they're doing. I saw some 56Ks in there. Yeah, it's trivia time. We'll put a question up. We'll read it. You answer quickly. You win a backpack. Are we ready?
Ready, Freddy. We are ready for question number 1. Let's get it rolling.
Oh, let's do it. Question number 1 is up now.
What day of the week did the first Android Q beta launch? Yes, what day of the week did the first Android Q beta launch? And you should know this if you follow. I'm seeing Eddie Daniels with the correct answer of WED, a.k.a. Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll give you that.
Heck yeah.
Saw some Fridays and Tuesdays and Mondays and Tuesdays and Mondays, and then there was finally another Wednesday. But yeah, Eddie Daniels with the Wednesday.
Nice and quick,
Wednesday.
too.
So, if everyone doesn't know,
yes,
security patches are Mondays. Wednesdays are for the betas. At least that's what we've been doing for a couple years now. Typically the first Mondays and Wednesdays of every month, but this month, I don't know, Google wasn't ready for Q5 beta or something. They did it this week. They threw us off a little bit.
It was a little curveball, but we were ready for it.
We were ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready for question number 2, please.
Question number 2 is up now.
What carrier launched the first mobile 5G network in the U.S.? Sorry if I didn't finish off that question, but what carrier launched the first mobile 5G network in the U.S.?
Someone had it real quick. Ellis Munoz. Had AT&T.
Congratulations.
A lot of Verizon and Sprints.
Really surprised to see the Sprints.
Yeah, AT&T at the end of 2018 was like, we're first. Here's our mobile 5G network. And we're not talking 5GE. They actually did launch it. You just couldn't get on it or buy it. It was only for like one hotspot device. And it was, I think, also only for business consumers. But it was 5G. It was just, it happened kind of in the mix of all the 5GE drama that was going on there. But it really was AT&T.
It's true.
Ellis Munoz with the backpack win.
Congratulations, Ellis. Round of applause. All right. Question number 3, please.
Question number 3 is up now.
How many cameras in total are on the Pixel 3 XL? Ooh. Again, how many cameras in total are on the Pixel 3 XL?
I think I got Dave B09 with that one.
I think you are correct, good sir.
Maybe that's Dave Bo9.
Dave Bo9. Dave Bo9.
Dave Bo9.
Yeah.
Dave B09.
Dave Bo9.
With 3.
Dave B09, congratulations.
Trick some of these guys. Saw some 2s out there.
Come on,
there's only
guys.
1 on the back, but there's 2 up front.
2 on the front. Congratulations. All right, another hard one. Here we go. Question number 4, please. Let's keep it moving.
All right, question number 4 is up now.
Which big Nintendo game finally arrived on Android in March 2017, 4 months after iOS? Dr. Mario, Connor, my guy. Come on, dude.
Dr. Mario just came out.
I'm going to have to go with Cesar Villanueva.
Yeah, because Ellis already won.
Yep.
So
Ellis, you're already a winner, buddy. So Cesar Villanueva, congratulations with the correct answer of Mario Run, a.k.a. Super Mario Run. We will accept Mario Run, not a problem. Cesar,
Dan Perkins, you said Super Mario right behind him.
We had some quick ones there.
Matt had Mario Runner behind that. There were some other Mario runs, but yeah. Ellis was first, can't win twice. Cesar, right there.
Oh, also, Ben Jacobs says Dr. Mario is lame, by the way. I'm totally with you. Dr. Mario blows.
Yeah, so I played it a lot that first day that it came out. And then it goes, I lost a couple rounds, and it goes, you're out of hearts. You can't play anymore. You want to buy hearts to play? And I said, never. Uninstall. Like, if you want me to pay to play your game,
just make it.
Just not going to happen. Not doing that. We're not paying to play.
What, am I frozen on people's screen or something? What's going on here? Tim is not getting arrested.
Is Tim getting arrested? I don't know.
Am I frozen?
No, you're good, I think.
Oh, maybe it's the lights?
Oh, yeah, probably the lights.
Yeah.
No, those are trivia lights.
Yeah,
just
guys.
Trivia lights.
Anyway, we've got one more question here.
Oh,
It
yes,
may reference something we just spoke about. Anyway, question number 5, final question. Let's make it good.
Question number 5 is up now.
What? I hate this word, processor. What processor? It sounds like there should be an extra syllable. That's my problem. What processor powered the Moto 360 first gen? Holy moly. Connor Mills. There goes my Xbox controller. Connor Mills with the correct answer of the TIO Map 3.
You're not taking
Nice.
Sarah Washington's Texas Instruments. Just curious.
No. I can't
You want
do it.
OMAP? You want
I
the full thing?
needed at least OMAP, or I would have taken TIO Map. The OMAP's the important part, right? Because Texas Instruments, they just made it. It's the OMAP 3. So I got to go with Connor on this one.
Okay.
Sorry, Sarah.
Okay.
You can yell at me on Twitter. I'll allow it. But I think do you agree with me? I want to make sure this is a consensus here.
Well, you did say what processor. You didn't say who made it.
Right.
Okay.
So answer to the question, Connor Mills.
Okay.
Good. Glad we settled that. I don't like fighting.
All right, Sarah confirmed. TI isn't a processor. It's a company.
Thank you, Sarah.
Sarah, you were quick, though.
You were very
I
quick.
think before Tim even read it.
Yeah, these folks knew it was coming. They knew.
Yeah,
They're smart.
The OMAP. They were leftover OMAPs from the OG Droid or something, weren't they? Something like that. Or the Droid 2. It was one of those things. It was like leftovers, and it had already been 2 years old, I think. And they're like, let's just throw them in this watch. It'll be great.
And it's still the best one they ever did.
Yeah, only because of the design.
Oh, the design was awesome.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Eddie
T.I. is a
Daniels,
rapper.
$10. Thanks for another great show. Thanks, Eddie.
Eddie.
I feel like Eddie donated like $30 or something today. At least 12.
Gosh.
At least 12.
Well,
Maybe
only a few more, and then you get to get your backpack.
Lord. Thanks, Eddie.
Thank you, Eddie. Yeah, I mean, thank you to everyone who donated for OHS. It was $600. It doesn't get much sweeter than that. You got to love that.
Yeah, if you guys missed the beginning of the show, the donations we took for 2 months that were all going to Oregon Humane Society, we totaled them up, and it was $600. You guys donated $600, and then we sent that money off today to them. We sent the Oregon Humane. They have $600 today from you guys, which is pretty awesome. Yes,
You guys are too nice.
which is pretty awesome. Yeah, so thank you guys all for the donations today. Andy, Sarah, Austin, Sarah and Andy again, Xavier, Big Bomb Dono Don. PC747 was also in the earlier show. Nate in there, Obi, TJ Carr, Daniel, Eddie, David, Eric, Eddie again. And there was a bunch of people in the show that broke previously. I'm sorry, I don't remember all of those damn names again. That's my bad. I know there was a whole bunch of you that donated in the previous show. I gave you a shout out earlier. I wish I was better and had those again. Sorry. I think that's it for topics. Is there any random stuff? So if you guys want to leave and not listen to us talk about sports, feel free. But World Cup champs.
Who?
World Cup champs.
World Cup champs, dude. So Megan Rapinoe is my absolute hero right now.
She's pretty cool.
I think once my hair gets out just a little bit more, I'm gonna dye it that same pink or purple, whatever she had going on there.
You should actually.
Sorry?
You should. It would be pretty great. Yeah, you should totally dye that.
Yeah, that's my plan. Maybe for Halloween or something.
Yeah, you know how many kids are gonna dress up as her for Halloween, which is fantastic.
Yeah, love me some Rapinoe. I can't wait to see what he serves at the White House when they don't come visit.
Was it Jimmy Kimmel that served him up a bunch of like chicken nuggets last night or something? Like he did the White House fast food spread as like a joke.
That's
I think.
nice.
Pretty good. NBA. Your boy,
man.
Russell Westbrook, now with my boy, James Harden, my two least favorite players in all the NBA, now on the same team. At least it's like one less team I have to cheer against, because now Oklahoma City, I just don't care. I mean, I don't like Chris Paul, but Chris Paul is on whatever.
It's crazy.
Yeah, lots of stuff going on.
The NBA has completely changed. Confirmed Lillard absolutely destroyed the OKC, the entire organization. He just blew it up.
Yeah, he wasn't just waving goodbye to that season. He was waving goodbye to the organization as a
Thunder. Whole. Yeah. It's kind of ridiculous.
It's kind of ridiculous. The man he just murders people. He does.
It's really crazy. I mean, the NBA is going to look so much different next season than it did this season, which I think is the beauty of the NBA. In baseball, you don't really get that. In football, you somewhat get that maybe like with quarterbacks or big-time wide receivers. But in whole, it's ridiculous.
Well, yeah, with Kawhi dragging Paul George to the Clippers, and then Kyrie and KD. I know KD probably won't play next year, but him and Kyrie out there. I mean, the whole thing's different. I saw, I think it was Adam Silver said something the other day, like, I don't know if I really like these players demanding when they want to be traded and stuff, and that's not great. And I'm like, why? These dudes should be able to go where the hell they want. And if owners want to figure out how to make that magic, or GMs work that magic, like, who cares? Like, I don't know that we necessarily need Kawhi to stay in one city for 17 years straight. No. Like, I don't know that we really care. We just want good NBA. We want that drama. And we're going to get a lot of it this year.
We do like the drama. Well, I think the times of the Kobe's and the MJ's, and that's it's kind of behind us, where one player will just stick with a team, and I think that's okay, And I think I wouldn't say LeBron made that an okay thing to do, like take your talents to South Beach or wherever you want to go.
He kind of started it, yeah.
He did. Like, if you want to go, and people will hold it against you, and they will burn your jerseys. But as soon as you come back and win them a championship, they'll praise you as the god that you are. So, very interesting.
Yeah. It's been wild. And then we got Lillard, though, who says he's going to be a Trailblazer for life, and he's going to make like $400 million probably.
I love that man.
Brandon Fisher says you signed a contract, though. You did, but I feel like it's just like it's just the nature of the NBA now. Like, you sign contracts, and those contracts are just transferred around the NBA depending on where you want to play. And I know, like, there's supposed to be loyalty and stuff like that. But, like, what you have to remember is teams don't have loyalty to players either. So you can't just, like if a player says, look, I want to go somewhere, you can't completely hammer them for not being loyal to maybe your team, because your team will cut them the second they do anything they don't like. So by players having power, I think it's fine, because for a long time they didn't. So, yeah, like, it's a contract, but I don't know that either party there really loves it that much or will be loyal to it in the end. So you got to do what you got to do.
I absolutely agree. Yeah, I don't think the contract it has nothing to do maybe with the city, right, or loyalty or anything. Like, I don't think the contract specifically states anything about loyalty. I think it's more about, we're paying you this amount of money for services tenured or whatever. So,
yeah, I mean, like, Lillard's kind of an enigma, right? Like, he's like, I'm going to be with Portland because they showed love to me, and I'm going to give everything to the city, and I'm going to be here forever. But there's not a lot of dudes like that. Like, he's a different dude in a good way. But in a good way. Yeah, he's a different kind of dude. I mean, he's had success here, so it kind of helps. But
if he wants to leave, we can't stop him as a city. We can be disappointed, but
I'd just be sad. I wouldn't be mad at the guy. I would just
but if
be sad.
He deserves a championship in my mind. Lillard, like, just the kind of the guy he is, deserves a championship. And if he said, "Hey, I'm gonna go try and get a championship somewhere else," I'd be like, "You do you, man. As long as you keep dropping them albums with those tired rhymes, just keep them coming." Hey, man.
Xavier mentioned Dirk. Yeah, Dirk's one of the few that just one place the whole time.
Yeah, there's Dirk, special guy.
Few of them. Melvin says not in Portland. Don't say it. Don't say that. We're getting championship here one day.
One day.
It's only been like 50 years almost, but one day we'll get there.
What was it, 76?
76, 77, I believe. So it's been over 40 years since we've had a championship here. Well, the Timbers have won championship, but we don't have an NBA championship. There's a difference. And, like, the Winterhawks have probably won like 17.
Winterhawks are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just
don't have an NBA championship. We've got other championships. The Thorns have won championships, but we need that NBA championship. So,
yeah.
All right. we should probably wrap there. It's getting late.
Yeah. Oh, did you? Oh man, did you drop your email address?
Oh, yeah. Did everyone leave that one? Totally forgot about that. For those of you sticking around who
if we still
won,
have winners who want their prizes, feel free to email Kellen.
I probably already have emails from most of them. Yes, if you were a winner, please email me and we will get you your OnePlus backpack. Totally forgot about that key portion of the trivia. Yeah, so email me and that'd be great. And I will get you your backpack.
Yeah, Connor Mills, if you already left, don't worry, I have your email. I will forward it to Kellen.
Yeah, Eddie Ellis, Dave, Cesar, Connor, all y'all email me something. Get a hold of me. I promise I didn't mean to forget that. So yes, the end of the DL show is Sports Ball Talk, Ben. We're glad that you stuck around,
Score a
Ben.
goal basket. Dude, I love that. There's sports and so hard out there. Yeah, you gotta love it.
Great. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. I don't think we'll be back next week. I think I'm gone next Friday or something.
You are.
So rest in peace, DL show next week. We'll be back the following week with probably big news or something. Probably. Right? Have a good weekend, everyone. Thanks for all the donations again.
Peace.
Peace.